Welcome back, everybody. Today we got kind of a fun project. We are going to be wiring up the lighting rig for this Sea of Thieves mermaid gem that I designed up. So this little insert just gets super glued to the inside here like that. Should make a totally flush bottom when it's done. It has a little bit of a detent to hold the 9-volt in place. So 9-volt stays in put, and then we also have a little slot for the on-off switch here. So first thing we'll do is we'll glue down these on-off switches, because we're actually going to make 2 of these up today. But yeah, we'll just glue the on-off switches in place. We got to strip all of the terminals or all the housings off of these 12-volt LED bulbs that I bought, and then from there we should be able to start wiring this thing up, soldering all the connections.
When gluing these little slider switches in place, make sure you don't put too much on the very ends of them, because any glue that gets on the inside will actually interfere with the travel of the switch. On the underside of these lighting modules, there's a little plus marked next to the positive. So I bent that one over, and now I'm going through and just trimming off the negative terminal, so it makes it easier to mount into this housing the way I have it set up. I went around and added a little bit of flux to all the contact points. It'll make these solder connections go much easier. I placed all the negative connections towards the back, so that's what we're starting with. We'll get all those made and set the way they should be, and then we'll work our way around to do all the positive connections. Again, we're going to go around and add a little bit of flux to all the connections to facilitate better contact. Also, things to watch out for is once you're done making these connections, we got to have them physically isolated from the other ones, because these are all just raw connections. I'm going to actually take and add a little bit of hot glue towards the end of this project to basically lock everything down. Just a couple more connections to make, and then we will do a polarity check. There is a chance that I misread the PCB on the underside of the lighting module. I'd rather, at this stage, while everything's easy to get to, verify that everything is good to go. And now everything lit up. cut the leads on the 9-volt just a little bit too short for this application. On the second one, which I did off camera, I made them a little longer, made it easier to take the battery in and out. But now that it's all together, let's do a quick test. Everything fits into the housing nicely. So now we can go through and lock everything down. So I don't want these wires to be flopping around. Also, if they're right up against the core, it helps hide them a little bit better. You won't see the colors bleeding through the outer housing as much when the thing's powered down. It's just a tidiness thing, but also for structural reasons. We just don't want anything to move. But then we're going to go and install this, and I just took a couple little blobs of hot glue to hold the core in place so that way I could super glue it. On the second one, I actually used masking tape instead of the hot glue, which almost worked better. And then just a little glue around the edges, and it is all locked down.
And there it is, all finished up. Still waiting on the glue to dry on the underside, but other than that, it is done.